Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be comparing the X3 to the X5 to see which BMW SUV you should buy. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW of Pleasant Grove for giving me some time with both of these cars. Link to their website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Brendan. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. The X5 has a lot of different powertrain options available, from inline 6s to V8s. This one is powered by the hybrid 3-liter inline 6. It can go almost 40 miles on a charge, and it produces 483 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque. Now the X3 also has quite a few different powertrain options available. 4-cylinder, you also have inline 6. This one's got the inline 6, just a regular turbo 3-liter inline 6. I shouldn't say regular, it's a B58. But anyways, it produces 393 horsepower and then 428 pound-feet of torque. And without any hybrid stuff or anything, well, I shouldn't say any hybrid stuff, but without a like full-on plug-in hybrid like that one, it's able to get, you know, almost 30 miles per gallon combined. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe, because I post content every single day. You'll notice stylistically, they look very similar because they're both BMWs. The X5 does sit a bit higher, right? It's got a higher roofline and all that. It's just a bigger car. The X3 is very interesting. I mean, look how big the grille is in comparison to the X5, which is a bigger car, and the grille's really, actually a little bit smaller on the X5, which is very interesting. Now, these are both equipped with 20-inch wheels, completely different style. I mean, this is like all blacked out with the silver. This says silver and gray, kind of interesting. You got fender flares here on the X5, whereas you don't have fender flares on the X3. And then look at the mirror cap difference. You got these like aerodynamic styled mirrors on the X3, whereas the X5 just kind of has regular mirror caps. So here's your side profile with the X5. And then here's your side profile with the X3. Now, taking a look at the cargo area with the X3, you can see it's actually quite spacious, has a cargo cover built in from the factory, and because this is an SUV style, like, yeah, just practical overall. Popping over to the X5, the cargo area is actually not that much bigger than the X3. It is a little bit, but it's not as much as you'd think. And then you notice we've got this little button right here, boop, and boom, we got the tailgate. So that is one big benefit of the X5, is you get the tailgate rather than a regular hatch. Now, when it comes to the rest of the rear style of the X3, it kind of looks like a hot hatch in a lot of ways. Got aggressive exhaust tips and all that. The X5, kind of traditional SUV. Pretty cool exhaust tips down below, I will say so myself. But there's the backs. Now, in the back of the X3, I've got good room here. Got a little storage net, some vents here in the back, USB ports as well. And then you can see here these seats, pretty nice looking, if I do say so myself. And then we've got good headroom in the back of the X5, and again, it's a little bit more spacious, but not that much more like you might suspect. Anyways, got some vents here in the back. I like the little wood trim there on the door panel. And I will say, these seats are quite a bit more comfortable compared to the X3 seats. And then it also feels like there's a bit more headroom. And there should be a lot of carryover with this because they're both BMWs, but you see full digital, you got a big infotainment system next to it. This is pretty cool with the steering wheel. I got that little marker there up top. And you got these fancy paddles there on the back. And look at that for the door, for the lock and unlock, and the memory seats and everything. Very interesting stylistically, some of the choices here. A lot of this stuff looks like it was like 3D printed or something. I know that because my wife buys a bunch of random 3D printed stuff. Anyways, you can see physical controls for the infotainment system, your gear selector and all of that. Got like a crystal effect on it. And by the way, feature-wise, this does have a 360 camera system, for those of you wondering. And then again, we do have a big sunroof up top. Well, this is interesting. This actually has kind of like a more cheap look compared to the crystal effect in the X3. But you notice this is pretty much the same with this whole setup, 360 camera, all of that. And the steering wheel doesn't have a cool marker there at the top. But this is more normal. I mean, look at the controls here on the door panel. Everything's a little bit more normal in the X5, and I kind of appreciate that. And even the dash design, it's not quite as crazy as what you have in the X3. Interesting. Let's say these seats are a bit more comfortable. Again, just nicer trim overall. And then again, you got a big sunroof up top. So very similar features to the X3, with surprisingly some controls not having quite as nice of a finish. Oh, also adjustable suspension. That's a big difference. The X3 doesn't have that. But yeah, just kind of a, I mean, look at the steering wheel too, just a more normal setup with the controls. Now, when it comes to pricing, the X3 is about 70 grand. The X5 with this package is about $83,000. I know the powertrains aren't perfectly comparable. If we did an X5 with the comparable powertrain to that X3, it'd actually be more expensive, it'd be like $85,000. So you're at the $13,000, $15,000 more for the X5 either way. Let's drive them. Bada bing, bada boom. X3. Definitely crazy the amount of performance they've packed into this now. And again, this is, you know, they've got M in the name, but it's not a full-on M car. It's an M Sport. Gotta love the torque. I love BMW's inline six. It's just such a good engine. And I need to say the single turbo, the B58. It's got great low end torque. It's smooth. It's fuel efficient as well. Seriously, I mean, it's one of the best engines, and it's pretty darn reliable. It's one of the best engines ever produced in a car. It's really hard to beat. Yeah, I mean, just going over the bumps and everything, it's nice and comfortable. Let's see if we can... Ah, this does have... I was gonna say it sounds piped in. It does have piped in sound. So that is confirmed now. And BMW just handled well. Again, they focus on sportiness, and you feel it. Bump. Yeah, this feels like this lightweight, sporty, nimble, fun to drive car. It's really cool. Do not like the drive mode change. I put up with it, but yeah, it's too much clicking if you ask me. So we've got it in sport mode. It's quick, and because it's an inline six, it just has so much to pull from, and it's smooth too. I love inline sixes. I hope more manufacturers use them. I mean, Mercedes uses it now. Land Rover has it. There's a lot of manufacturers that are going inline. I mean, even Ram has it in their trucks now in inline six. So I think people are finding out the benefits of doing an inline six versus a V6. V6 is just a little bit more abrasive. But overall, I mean, this is a fun, sporty little luxury car. BMW's new interiors are very interesting. They're be interested to see how well these age in terms of the theme they've gone, because it's very spaceship-esque. Well, let's see how the X5 compares to the X3. Right off the bat, again, the seats are a bit more comfortable, so that's kind of it's a big plus if you ask me. Suspension's more comfortable. An air suspension, it makes sense. Now this, being the plug-in hybrid, it's pretty darn smooth. I'm gonna turn this. BMW. This is one thing that I do not like about all digital. I like old school with the vents where I can just twist a dial, turn it off, or turn it on. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is obnoxious to deal with at times. That's for certain. This is smooth. is smooth. Yeah, it seems to do a little bit of a better job compared to the X3 over the bumps. You definitely feel like on smooth pavement, you definitely feel a difference, but over the bumps, I mean, the air suspension soaks it up a little bit better. Still kind of has a sporty edge to it, though. Gotta love that electric power. Oh yeah, definitely better over that too. So the suspension's significantly more comfortable with the overall compression. So it seems like the biggest benefit so far is comfort. It's not, which is weird because again, you'd think it'd have way more space, but it seems like the space isn't that much of a... Okay, so this should just kick in and... Not bad. Now the thing about these plug-in hybrids, the biggest benefit I see is actually not the performance, it's more so of the range, electric range. Because this doesn't really feel all that much more powerful than just the straight up inline six by itself. And I think a big part of that too is a lot of the extra power is going to be negated by the fact that the vehicle weighs more because of the battery. So you got more power on paper, but in reality, it doesn't feel any quicker. Does not feel any quicker. So should you go X5 or X3? X3 is better value in terms of features and how it drives and the space it provides. The X5 looks more normal, in my opinion. Looks a little bit better. Is more comfortable. Has the tailgate, which is cool. Nicer seats. So you just have to see if you value that. You know, is having the a little bit more comfort, a little bit nicer seats, a little bit nicer that, is it worth the extra $13,000 to $15,000? I'd say for a lot of people, probably not. Probably not. But I'd say if you really need the extra space, then, and you want the extra comfort, yeah. Let me know which one you'd go for.